that just jumped on. I don't know, but he looks a bit. He does look a bit like
he slays my people. That's all I know.
Jashin is a baller.
I don't like that.
Absolute baller.
Ricky, send your wife over. I'm hungry for some pussy.
Stay away from my people.
Okay, wait, hang on a second. She's making my fucking food, right? Okay, I'll send her later. Yeah. God bless you. See you later. Bye-bye.
God bless Ricky. Wow, this is a
no.
That's going to unfold in the next 30 minutes based on the combo of people we have.
We're both males. Some people would say we're both men, but like here we have a woman who may be able to offer, like be able to say what she like of who's right and who's wrong here. Okay, so I'm saying that my daughter, I think, needs affirmation because she didn't get it from her mother. Including, affirmation, physical affirmation. If that's called lesbianism, like, I don't think anyone frankly cares. But I don't think a dad can really do what, properly in the absence of I've always said, like, yeah, your mother's crazy. Like, I'm not going to be your mommy. Like, I can't do it. So you got the mom you got. And I do think something like exploring being with a woman in whatever way, it can be a way of saying like, yeah, no, I'd like, because in a sense you're affirming yourself.
I love how much you're soft pedaling this because
you had me there and then
you encourage her to go on Tinder to hook up with women, right? Like I'm
not saying she should hook up, but I'm saying
you said probably I have good news, Confluence. That's
no, I didn't tell you the good news, but it's weird news. In order really for there to be two sub women.
What news is not weird news with you, Ben?
There has to be a guy, so it actually becomes a threesome thing.
Let's just
That's the good news. That's the good news for your daughter.
Can we backtrack a bit, Ben? So my mother is also certifiably insane.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I do not talk to her. She's crazy. My father, great man, love my dad, talk to him all the time. Yes, you cannot replace a mother's love with a father's love. It's extremely difficult. Number one, men usually aren't equipped for it. And number two, it would be extremely weird if the guy who's teaching you how to change the oil on your car all of a sudden gives you tampon advice or how to,
And I've always also said, like, I don't want to know anything about that. So she never had anyone say, like, that's a beautiful thing, because I don't think it is. And her mother didn't think it is. Well, it must be in some ways.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
There's nothing.
No, but see, maybe you have the same problem.
Did you impart on her? Did you impart on her the importance of her breeding one day?
I think that. Well, in a certain sense, she already raised.
My dad would never even talk to me.
Younger siblings, so like in a certain sense, she's done her part. So
she's maternal.
Yeah, she raised. She's not itching to have kids right now because she spent the better part of her childhood raising her 5 siblings because her mother was gone. So I understand that most girls her age would want that, but like I get why she doesn't. Because
I'm just saying, so from my perspective, what I mean by that with my daughter is like I say things to both of my children that them being born was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like if I could go back, or if I could today have 10 more children, I would, because it's been the best part of my life, right? That's what I mean by impart on your daughter the importance of breeding, right? Like let her know that she's not a burden and that having a normal relationship is a good thing. I've heard you say that her mother is batshit crazy several times. Like no matter how much of an insufferable cunt my ex-wife is, I would never say that in front of my daughter or my son.
Well, I mean, you think you have to explain, like, why is it that mom is angry at me and tried to ruin my career? Like, it's not you, honey. She's crazy. I'm not saying she's a bad person if I'm saying she's crazy. But the alternative would be she's like an incredibly bad person. So I think crazy is a way of saying, you know, it's got nothing to do with you personally. Don't take it personally. But like, it's not healthy.
It's just it's hard from a kid's perspective because my father. I mean, I don't talk to him either. I'm kind of like you, Paige. Like, but I grew up in an environment where it was known by my mom telling me constantly like all the things that were wrong with my father, and like it basically like ruined me.
I agree. Women shouldn't do that to men, but men can do that with the women.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Now that's where I'm going to disagree. I don't think either side should do that. I think you should look for positive things to say about Grace's mother to her instead of focusing on the negative, and she'll figure out the negative by herself. Like be like, even though things are difficult, I still love your mother. And I don't. I hate it. Well, you had to have loved her to make the child, right?
No.
Wait, okay, just a second. That would be so weird.
No, wait a second. Wait a second. You're telling me that you have to love someone to fuck them? That's not true.
No, like a child needs to know that both parents love each other and love them.
Don't.
No, they don't.
They do. It's extremely
married to her.
That's ideal. That's ideal. I agree. That's ideal.
Think you loved her at some point.
I got trapped
for like normal bonding purposes. Like it's good for the child.
I put my dick in crazy. I'll admit that, and I don't regret it. But I didn't put my dick in loving.
Are you a romantic man, Ben?
Not excessively.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think that's a beautiful thing. I've never experienced it.
You've never had like true love where you had like the limerent codependency where you were like you couldn't live without the other person,
Oh yeah. When I was younger, I had that, but the problem is when you actually get together with them, it's usually like they're crazy.
Yeah, you got to.
So it's better it's better to be in love with someone than to actually meet them. In my experience.
I'm talking about like be with them and love them like that. Like
no, it always sucked.
You have to pick one of the two.
100%. I have yet to have a positive sexual experience in my entire life.
That's sad.
For a while, and just recently, because people think I'm a creep or whatever for saying this. For a while, I actually thought women hated penises and hated semen, hated giving blowjobs, hated because like that was my experience. It was always like, what do I have to do? Like, when can this be over? And I actually come to realize that there are women who actually love giving blowjobs, love having sex, like penises, and I'm like, wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I actually really was convinced that like somehow God had made women so they actually hate men, but it's just the women I was with.
Yeah, your sperm can also taste bad, like your semen can taste bad. Everybody tastes a little bit different, right? Like especially the women. But like my problem has been with women that like I produce way more semen than the normal guy. I mean, my loads are huge.
Are you a Leo?
I'll trust you on that.
Are you a Leo?
No, I don't know what that means. But so like my problem is
TMI, Anson, TMI.
Well, no, I'm just saying like it's real, right? Like women can be turned off by all sorts of different aspects of like sexuality. I mean, everybody's a little bit different. They have their like some women have different crevices than other women, and they taste different. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah. But I'm saying I just didn't realize there were women who could enjoy sex because it seems like there should be, but I was just like I was legit like. Oh, they just don't like it. But because I haven't found that to be true.
Slow.
I think sex is a beautiful thing that a husband and wife within the sanctity of marriage by the church should share. And any kind of details beyond that, I think, are kind of between the two of them. But absolutely, it should be enjoyable and romantic. One of the main goals that I've been told in orthodoxy of marriage is to continue connection between the couples.
Yeah. Right, which makes sense. It just seems like, of course, if God made us male and female, then like it should be that both sides want to connect. But I just thought like, okay, well, I don't get, I don't know. Maybe the fall made it so that women just don't enjoy it. But that could be just me.
Pineapple juice. Oh my gosh, this is the most degenerate thing.
I didn't even say it. This is the answer that says this, and then I get the name. What the fuck?
That's rough, man. That's hard to walk back from.
Yeah,
it's worse than no car fluid.
Probably is.
So Paige, let me ask you this question. So if you say I have been super close with my father. Not so much with my mother. Do you find it hard to embrace femininity in some sense because You didn't have a model of that?
Well, so I have an interesting story. I lived with my mother from age 3 to 18 because she did the whole custody, thing where she got custody, married a simp, got him to take custody of me so she could like utilize my dad in a,
Oh, you mean a
alimony.
stepfather? You're saying?
Yeah.
You had a stepfather? Okay. Yep.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy, but he bends
Right.
to a crazy woman's will, so I call him a simp.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
She got him to do that, right? So I lived with her for quite a bit of time, and what I saw in those years was the exact example of what not to do.
Right.
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 With your the person that you're supposed to love, and
Right.
yes, she is an example of femininity. To what extent she's an example, the worst kind.
Yeah. Right. Right. And that's a good
Um,
lesson too. But then you don't have the positive lesson of someone who does it right. And I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's good for women to, because you have this phenomenon, like the daddy's girl, like the daddy's daughter can be like kind of masculine, right? Like can be into sports because she's close to her dad. The dad likes sports, so she does
Ben,
sports.
nobody would
She
ever
learns how to
describe
fix
me as
stuff.
masculine. That's the craziest thing that I've
I
ever
love
heard.
tomboys.
You're not
Yeah.
masculine. You're not
Never
masculine.
I don't
Yeah.
really think you. I don't think you fall into
Cool.
that stereotype.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not
Oh,
at all.
No, I don't.
I don't think
so.
you're masculine.
The hair bows help. I'm gonna wear more hair bows, chat. I promise.
You're super feminine, Daria. Don't worry.
Good.
Well,
How
I
do you
mean, I wouldn't
define,
say you're super feminine because you are a
Shut up,
female
Ben.
debater, which is like an oxymoron. But I think you actually
How do you
realize
define
that's an
being
oxymoron.
feminine?
She's
I'm just
got a,
wondering how. Just when you say she's super
Warrior.
feminine,
yeah,
I'm just
she's
wondering
got a
I'm the
vagina.
warrior.
That's a good question, old mate. What does
Yeah.
feminine mean?
Right.
And I think only music and poetry can really
Now there's two
articulate
gay guys
that.
here.
Just like a woman. We all know it, but it is hard to define.
It's like
Yeah, like-
SCOTUS's definition of pornography, right? You know it when you see it.
I have no doubt that she's not bisexual by talking to her. That's
But
that's
I think if we were to take an image of a beautiful naked woman, we would say, okay, soft, nurturing, receptive. That's how I tell Grace sometimes. You should look in a mirror at yourself, and that will give you a clue as to what you were made for. Beyond just like, okay, this takes a penis. This is what babies suck from. I'm saying softer, receptive rather than, you know what I mean? Like it's fairly obvious. But
why would you talk to Grace about that, Ben? Why would you talk to Grace?
well,
about
because
that?
her mother didn't. Her mother didn't.
Yeah, but don't you think that a strong man would bring that out in her naturally? Because like if she dated a real man, then she would be able to feel that like naturally. It doesn't require any practice. It's not like she's a tranny,
Nobody needs all that. She
That would
needs
bring
to
it
just
out
be
in
a
her,
voiceover
yeah,
for
as a
women
kind of
being
complementary thing,
Yeah.
like the yin yang.
She just needs a real man. Dude.
Yeah,
She
but
needs
you
to be
need.
a
I don't think a
voiceover for
man
women.
should teach a woman
That's
how
what
to
she
be a
needs to
woman.
do.
I don't think a man should teach a woman how to be a woman. I think a woman should teach a woman how to be a woman, and then of course the man compliments the woman.
But to go back, why does it need to be in a lesbianic Tinder-induced relationship?
Well, I'm not saying necessarily like sexual, but like sexual, maybe in a sense, because I think it's easier to appreciate in someone else something that you can't appreciate in yourself. So it's a little bit like looking in a mirror and affirming. I think her affirming femininity and being affirmed.
I hate if I shut off like the moral part of my
is-
mind. You kind of make a weird amount of sense, but then my morality kicks in, and I'm like, I don't know if that's actually true. But
Well, I mean,
the
do
way
you actually care if two women like bump and grind some night? Like,
No,
no
but
one
I'm
has in
saying-
the history of the world has ever cared.
No, I'm saying, but if you're a father
I do.
and you're both
Morality.
Catholic,
You
then I
care?
think
Do you think God
it
cares?
seems
Right.
You're a Catholic,
Right,
Ben.
release-
Of course he
release your
cares. I don't
monster.
understand.
Okay, well, let's ask
You're
this.
an
Are you saying
enigma.
God cares about the
Yeah.
female orgasm generally? No, he doesn't. He doesn't care. God doesn't care.
What do you mean by care? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know what
cares
that
about
means
the
in
Is it for the
He only
purposes of
cares about the
procreation?
Being touched.
The female orgasm does not really have anything to do with procreation.
I know, but
No,
like,
that's not
is it
true.
encouraging procreation? or,
Minimally. Yeah, so I'm saying it's like, it's like it would be like I would think a temporary thing to sort of have that affirmation so that then you could feel confident in your femininity, and if you wanted to offer that to a man. But if you if you're not confident in your sexuality, you're it's very hard for you to offer that to someone else, because what are you offering them?
Do you not think Grace is confident in her femininity?
Oh, I know she's not.
No, he shouldn't even. No, he shouldn't even think of. No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't even think about it. It just should be like
Really?
just like a no.
We are
go.
way
Just
past
like a
that
no
line.
go.
You don't
We
think
have
an
blown
opposite sex
far
parent
past
should
that
be
line.
concerned with their kids' sexual
Sorry,
well-being?
sorry, Ben. What would
Not
you
the slightest. No, it's none of their damn business. Once they become adults, you tell them, "Hey, look, don't fuck till you get married, and everything will turn out just fine." That's all you got to do.
Well,
my
how about
dad
when they're
doesn't
not an
even
adult?
want to know if I'm
Marriage
like
is scam.
dating anybody until like it's like for sure, and he needs to actually meet the guy to figure out whether or not he's marriage material. My dad doesn't want to know anything about like the intricacies of my relationships or whether or not I get off.
Yeah, I
or-
understand that.
That'd be
That's
so
the
weird,
normal
he
thing,
did.
because but in your case, who does want to know about that? Neither parent, right?
No, yeah, nobody.
So nobody wants to know about your sex life.
Yeah,
I mean,
You can tell me, Paige. You can
Do you
tell
have
me,
an aunt
okay?
or someone? Do you have an aunt or someone or a sister who you can have?
No,
Well,
nobody
then I think
wants
that's
to know
tough.
about
I
what
think
I do
that
in my bedroom. Nobody wants to know that. It's
Nobody's
nobody's business.
well, I mean, when you were
Right.
younger, it was nobody's business.
It was,
Probably
it was
even
nobody's business.
more so,
after.
maybe. I'm not sure.
I mean, I would say in the normal course of things, it is
Emmett,
the business of the
Emmett.
same-sex parent to introduce and welcome a child into adulthood, including like sexual
Oh
adulthood
no! My mother taught
and
me
give
abstinence.
guidance.
She was even hesitant to put me on birth control when I had cramps and acne issues when I was 16. She was very hesitant because I wasn't sexually active. And
But did
didn't
she
wanna know.
welcome you into being a young woman? Like, say,
No,
when
it
your
was a great
breasts are
sense of
budding or
shame
whatever,
for a
say like,
woman
"Oh, that's
to have
happy."
her too hot, excrete certain things at a certain time of the month. That was a big shame and stuff. And like,
Yeah, right,
especially if I was to be active, that would have been a double shame at the age of 16. That would have been horrific, right? I'm a staunch Christian.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it sounds anti-sexual.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You're supposed to reserve your sexuality for your husband, right? And Catholicism.
You think the
and
point of Christianity is to be anti-sexual?
Right.
until you're within the sanctity of marriage, yes.
You're supposed to
Oh,
be
okay.
anti-sexual?
You're not supposed to have sexual inclinations and act on them until you are blessed with the
You're not
sacrament
supposed
of
to
marriage.
be horny?
Right.
Well, are you acting on it?
Well,
Have
you
ever
said
seen Jesus?
inclinations.
You haven't,
Like,
you're not doing anything.
It's the same thing as like, okay, so like
Asking
if
Jesus,
if
so
you're,
there you
for instance, you have inclinations of a perverted nature sexually, right? You can have them, but if
What
you
about
act on them, it's a
non-perverted?
sin.
what about non-perverted?
What is not perverted?
Seeing a beautiful woman saying like, "I would like to have sex with her."
Are you married to her?
No, but how are you ever going to get married to someone unless you're attracted to them first?
Okay, well, unless you're married, you shouldn't be having sex with her, right?
Marriage is a scam. That's made up. Bullshit.
Wait a second. If you're a young man and you're not married and you
Marry
see
my
a
animal.
beautiful woman and you notice
marry your
she's a
animal?
My
beautiful,
animals need to get married.
she has a beautiful body, like
finds a good
you're
dog.
saying that's a problem?
to marry to.
It's a problem if you act on it outside of the covenant of marriage.
What if your acting on it is going up to her and starting a conversation with the idea that eventually you could create a family? Like, what's the problem there?
As long as you're not
Okay.
sticking the P in the V.
But is that
right?
is
Until
that
the
sexual
ring's on the
behavior?
finger.
Is that sexual behavior?
Shouldn't marriage be nobody's business but their
Talking
own?
to someone? No.
Well, it's sexual because you're not going to talk to a guy who's really attractive in the same
Okay.
way, right?
Okay, let's be clear.
Thank you,
The
Amy.
act of like the
The
private
jungle?
parts interacting with the mouth or other private parts is the no zone. Okay, or like
But
ta
it's
grabbing
natural.
or nutsack grabbing,
Phobia of
right?
it.
Like get a little
Nutsack
What?
grabbing?
Sexual-
Can I
What
clip
is
you saying
that?
nutsack grabbing,
Right.
Paige? Is that okay?
He's nuts.
What? I
But
said
Paige,
no.
a lot
I
of
said that's
a lot of our
no-go
behavior
zone.
has
I'm just saying,
sexual
can I clip
elements
you
in it.
saying nutsack grabbing and use it as a soundbite? Is that okay?
Yeah, but
I guess
the problem
so.
is,
Whatever.
or the idea is,
It's gonna be funny. People are gonna do it anyway. You might as well take the lead on it.
like
The world is feral.
attraction is not a problem. You don't have a problem when it comes to attraction. You don't have a problem when it comes to
Right.
thinking, oh, I wanna do X thing with this person
My
because
head
that's what I
monster.
would like to do. That's not a problem. You know, it's the way that it works in it's we're moving against sin, so we're not trying to fulfill our desires because of our desires. The idea of sex would be to create something that is beyond that. So a family, for example, that would be a way to have
But let's be
to meet our
honest.
desires and
If you
make it
want
better.
to.
But let's be
Absolutely.
honest. Men, even if they are married, are mostly thinking about like, yeah, I want to.
Yeah, I
You
want to
know.
be with my wife this night and
But you don't have
go
to
wild.
be
I
thinking.
don't have a problem
you
with
don't
that.
have to be thinking. Well, I
No, I have
hope
a
she
shit.
gets
I don't
pregnant. You
care.
just-
I don't care how diligent you are in the privacy of bedroom with your wife. Don't care. You can do whatever you
You
want there.
should. You
Not
should
self-control
care.
or you don't.
No, I don't
Because
care.
otherwise,
Confluence.
I mean, maybe
Okay.
women think about the kids while they're having sex, but like the guy's just thinking about, finishing the job.
I mean, I mean,
and of
unless
course, that's
unless
what
you're
he's supposed to
dumb,
do.
you
God will do
probably-
the rest, right? That is
Unless
the
you're
Steelman
kinda
says
dumb, I
Jesus,
think people think
mushroom
about it.
is king. Steelman's
Man.
taking the opportunity to plug his God. Okay, the mighty
Man,
psilocybin.
I don't think that you and I could think about sex or women or marriage or relationships any differently. Isn't it like a deeply like spiritual and emotional experience, and like it's not just about the fucking, right? Like, I mean, the fucking's good, but it's about like the being like the one with the person, and like being inside of them, and the other one being inside of you, and like the
When did
spooning.
Anson
like
become
the
base?
spooning.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
The spooning is really good, man. Like afterwards, like I could spoon for hours.
Yeah, sure, but like women are more into that side of it and less into the like slam bam man. Thank you, ma'am. Although they should be into that too. But I would say it's like a yin yang thing. The man is more interested. I mean, like physiologically, really, it is about like
I don't
dropping a
know,
load
man.
in her.
It's been my experience that's the other way around. Like the women are more
Oh, women
like,
are more like that. See, I
yeah,
maybe it's
women
just
are
my
more
experience.
transactional from what I've experienced.
It's an unfortunate truth.
Oh my god.
I mean, I've been alive though for hundreds of years, like Emmett. I mean, us vampires, we don't really care that much about the intricacies of human relations.
But I mean, when you say like I think Emmett is articulating the orthodox philosophy better than you when you say you should be anti-sexual until you get married. I don't think you mean that. Like
Well, how is Emmett differing from me?
sexuality in a sense colors everything. It's like emotions. It's like there is sexuality everywhere.
But even when it comes to emotions, you're not supposed to act up on emotions.
Yeah, but isn't one of the orthodox reasons for getting married, like one of the legitimate orthodox reasons for getting married, that you can't keep your hands off of each other and you're gonna sin, so you might as well go ahead and get married because you're gonna fuck, right? You can't help it, and so because there's that
Yeah.
urge there.
No, that's
Like,
an
isn't that
opinion
something
by
behavioral
Paul, and his opinion
around?
is that
Really,
it would be better for you to give your life to God and don't have any kind of terrestrial
doing
duties outside of it. But he says that if you can, if you have this desire to have a wife or have a family, that you can act upon it, and it's better to do it in marriage than outside of it, because at least one of those are not sinning.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Where's
Sent to
the
burn
vibe
and
that
lust.
you
Yeah.
said that in your head?
So the point is, yeah, you can actually do it. You can actually having a family is the duty of a man anyway, and it's part of you. If you
Well,
cannot-
not
if
every
you-
man,
you
but-
cannot. If you cannot, yeah, you can. Obviously, there's men who give themselves to God,
Oh.
or to like psychic whatever to animals. But if if you have like the calling, or you have the desire to be with a woman, it's not a bad thing. You can actually get married and have a family and do all the things. Yeah, you did say you fuck animals. Okay, shut the fuck up.
He was
Go on.
talking about animal
Oh, really?
husbandry. Okay, you
He
guys
did
talk
said it a
past each
moment
other.
ago. He said, "I marry my animal." Well, you know what you do when you're married, but you're supposed to, pretty much
I
No
don't
fuck.
one's
think-
I think he
saying
was saying
that.
animals should get married. I think that's what he said.
That's what he said. He
so
said,
I
"I
guess
marry my
animals
animal."
should get married.
Whatever you say,
Animals should get married.
psychometrician.
Okay,
Yeah.
Animals
Go
should
go
get
talk to
Animals
fucking
are
erudite.
natural.
Animals
Your
just like
reality is
fucking
warped
each
with
other like
evolution and
fucking
you're a
bonobos,
psycho,
dude.
okay?
That's not
Just-
the word.
I don't see how your
Go
wife
talk to
puts up with
erudite.
that.
She probably needs a psychometrician.
You're the one spurting out with some nonsense.
I can spurg the fuck I
You
want,
talk about
dude.
on
I don't
YouTube.
mind about spurging. If you want to go to Spurg Fest, let's do it.
Okay, so
Yeah, I want to get back to talking about love,
your
though,
zodiac
right?
sign,
Because we were
Mr.
close to having a good conversation.
Robot.
I think you're a
What is it?
romantic. I think that's interesting. I'm not really.
Anson's
but
been hiding this side
You're
of himself from
Capricorn.
me
Capricorns are
for
afraid of intimacy.
6 months now, which is
I
crazy.
thought Anson said he was a romantic
I'm a
person a while
Capricorn.
ago.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, I've said it
That's
several
it.
times, but he doesn't listen
So I'm,
to
I'm
me.
what, into
Avery.
empathy?
They don't like
Oh,
I
you.
okay, got
believe
you.
you until now.
Empathy.
Okay, I
Kinda like
hear you. I
sexual
still
some
believe
empathy,
you. But
They
now
don't. I
believe
have
you.
zero empathy. I have zero empathy. I tested it once. It came out out of 100. It was like 4.
Intimacy.
Oh.
Capricorns are shy away from intimacy. Don't like it.
Oh, is that true?
They're
Yeah,
too
it
uncomfortable
is like
for
that.
it. I don't know.
Do you have that antisocial personality disorder? Do you have like
No, it's not a
sociopathy?
No, this isn't like I wasn't taking a test about like do you have this disorder? It's just like, within like it's like Jordan Peterson kind of stuff. Like, they have these like levels. It's just like personality test. So empathy is one of them. And I tested out like a 5, but then my daughter actually did it. She got a 3, even lower. So we have very low empathy. But I actually think that people with super low empathy can be very valuable because they don't care about hurting people's feelings. So they can point things out that other people won't point out.
They don't have remorse or guilt. Is a sociopath, and they're very successful.
Well, they're really valuable in war.
Yeah, I mean, right. Like
words,
sometimes empathy gets in the way. Like when like you guys, the Orthodox, a lot of times say women shouldn't vote because they vote with their tits, and your tits tell you, oh yeah, let's bring all the immigrants over, right? Like let's take care of everyone. But someone with lower empathy might be like, well, who's going to pay the bills? Let's give free health care to everyone all the time. Why not, right?
No,
you need a balance.
I mean,
Too much
I have a
empathy
pretty-
is dangerous.
I have a lot of empathy, but like that's still a good point. You don't have to not have empathy to see that viewpoint.
Yeah,
It has to be balanced with the other side, right? Like
I think people with high empathy are
Empathy
really
is just fake
important
and gay.
in society. I'm just saying different people have different gifts. I don't think there's any right or wrong.
Wait,
but-
so empathy exists now?
No, it's
I'm
fake
just saying
and
I
gay.
don't
I
have
don't know
any.
why.
I'm just saying I don't really have any.
It's an impossibility. You cannot have empathy at all.
Oh God!
I mean, okay,
It's
I mean-
it's a
Let's not go
Why,
down this
it's not
again,
that I
please.
just made a joke. I just made a joke for the panel.
That
That's
is
it. All I
completely
did was
People
make a
use
joke.
it as a way to manipulate you, especially the letter people and Anson. But especially the letter people, they love to come
you
up
repeat
with
yourself.
empathy and bullshit.
Emmett, I want to compliment you on whatever routine you're using to build your shoulders up. I just noticed how good they look in that swimsuit. You need to keep up
I'm
that
doing
routine.
great, babe.
Oh, that's true. That's
Yeah, I
true.
mean, whatever you're
Lord.
doing,
He's doing those overhead presses, man.
Yeah,
Holy
I'm
shit.
doing great.
Like, fuck.
No, I think I test low within the range of empathy. Doesn't mean I don't have any, but like I just, you know what I mean?
It's
like my
impossible to
height
have
would
empathy,
test.
Ben.
Is it good to have empathy?
It's impossible. It's not even
It's
possible.
not, no, it's impossible.
Why do you think
impossible?
Emmett thinks it's impossible because Emmett defines empathy in the most retarded way that no one on earth
It's
has
not
ever
my
defined
definition.
empathy
It's the
as.
definition
It
of
is
the
your
dictionary by
definition.
using
It's
the
not.
way that
Okay,
it
let's
says
do it.
you have to share the framework of the other person. Okay, so you have to feel the feelings that the other person is feeling. That's the idea.
That's what empathy
And
is.
that's not possible.
It's an
You can
attempt
have an
to
idea. You
feel
can have
what
an
the other person is
imagination.
feeling.
You can
It's an
imagine
attempt.
yourself in that. And also, it's
You're not-
completely
obviously you're not
useless. It
sharing
doesn't
their
feel
neuroplasticity.
anything.
Okay,
It
so
doesn't
Emmett,
tell you anything about how to act.
Hold
It
on.
doesn't do anything for you. It's just pure emotional manipulation that is trying to get you to think you
That's
see
so
this? You think this is
blackmailed.
bad?
That's so
How do you
That's
feel
not
about that
Emmett.
thing? Let's
Emmett,
act
hold
on
on.
that thing.
Hold
It's
on.
just
Let me
emotional
no.
manipulation.
Hold on. Let me
Yes,
let
it is.
me at least try and explain this.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're talking with a friend, they're going through
Hey,
a tough time.
Yeah.
All right, look. And so you don't like you try to realize, okay, if I was going through all of this, how would I feel?
Why would I do
That's
that?
empathy.
Why would I do that?
He's not. He doesn't.
Can I
he won't read
just-
it that way?
Let's say that a friend comes to me and tells me, you know what, my dog died. Why do I have to imagine my dog dying to be like, oh, that's a shitty
You don't
situation,
have
you know?
to do it. I'm just telling you what it is.
I feel
not-
sympathy for
look.
you. I feel bad for you. If there's anything, maybe I can help.
Yeah, okay, so you're
And maybe
talking
I
about your
can think of
sympathy
higher
and
level. I can
empathy.
feel that.
Dying. you are ready
Yeah.
to.
Well, what
And
about
they-
that
they-
convo?
they
I
try
don't know
to
what
use-
the difference is. Sympathy
What
means
one
like, I
is
can see your
sympathy is
pain.
you understand, or you try to understand.
Empathy
the
means you have the
feelings of other
capacity to
person,
try and feel the other
and
person.
You feel
If anything,
compassion
sure
for
they're
them
going
in a
to.
it's a
sense.
gay one.
But
Sympathy
empathy is
almost
you
putting
have to
someone,
try
like,
to
lesser
share
and, like,
on their
condescending to
feelings. You
them.
have to share the same framework of feelings with them. But I don't know why. I don't know why anybody would ever try to do any of that bullshit. Just emotional
very-
manipulation. It
That's the
doesn't
thing.
exist.
To try and relate to someone
Empathy,
more?
You can put yourself
No,
in their shoes.
You cannot
Sympathy,
relate
you
to
can
them because
imagine
you're
what
not
their
them
shoes
on their
feel
feelings.
like.
You cannot
Very
feel
simple.
what they feel.
I said
Wait,
try, Emmett. I said try.
Okay,
Keyword
fine.
here
I'm
is
gonna try
try.
to. You know what? I'm gonna try to feel like Daria. Thus, I'm a woman.
You don't have to.
That doesn't. That's not what that means.
Yes, I have so much empathy that I feel
Wait,
exactly
that's
like
not what
Daria
that means,
feels. Thus, I'm a
Emmett.
woman.
No one has
Honestly.
ever
It's not
met
what that means.
No one
That
has
is
meant
exactly
that.
what it is, okay? I feel
No, it's
exactly
not,
what
Emmett.
Daria feels.
No,
I
it's
can
not.
share the
I gave
framework.
you the
Thus, I'm a
example, and
woman.
you're
Your
refusing
stance
to
on this
acknowledge
is
not?
it.
fucking dumb.
Why
You
can
want to
one can I
continue
be
to
so
misunderstand
empathetic that I just
empathy
feel the
and use
same
a straw man
framework as
effect?
Daria
That's not how
and
that
be
works.
internalized as a woman now?
We already
Why?
discussed this to death. I
Yeah,
don't know
we-
why
yeah,
you're
Why?
arguing
I don't
on
know
it.
if you haven't understood it by now. I don't know
Can
if
you
it's
answer
possible.
my
No, he's
question?
not
Why
capable
can't
of
I be so
understanding
empathetic that I
Yeah.
share the framework of
Because
Daria and I'm
being-
just a woman?
Being
He's
empathetic,
actually
being
not
empathetic does not
capable of
mean you
understanding it.
It's like
become
water.
identified
It's
in an
water.
ontological way with the thing you're empathizing toward. No one has ever said that. So if you say, "Hey, my mom died," and my mom hasn't died, and I'm trying to imagine what that's like, I would never say
Aw.
that's identical. I'm experiencing the
Well, how's it
identical
different than
thing as if
sympathy?
my mom died.
How's it
Sympathy is
different
just
than
like-
sympathy?
it's-
In
sympathy
sympathy,
is like
you're not
feeling
trying to
bad
feel
for
what the other
somebody.
person feels. You're trying to understand what they feel, and you're trying to have.
It's a
you're
more.
trying
It's
to,
a more.
You're trying to help them, or you're trying to feel some
Empathy, you're trying to like enter
you're-
into that suffering with them. You're
No,
trying to
hold
like
on.
actually
You're not
understand
trying
what it's
to.
like.
Stop.
Yeah, you're not trying to
Empathy
feel
is
the same.
is automatic.
You're just understanding what they feel, and you
both.
try to
It's
feel
Empathy is automatic.
compassion
It
for
is not
them.
something you
There's
try.
There's a
to do.
huge difference.
K2.
between one and the
Okay,
other.
who's talking the least? Grace is joining, and that was she's going to join.
Grace.
Mm,
I think she's on kick.
God, I hate picking somebody. Kira
You
joined
can-
last,
you
I
can-
think.
You can
So.
kick me out. I wanted to.
Oh wait, Alex
I just wanted
technically
to yell
joined
at-
last.
Alex joined last. Kieran's
I wanted
Australian.
attack him on the stupid empathy thing, but I'm done. You're good.
No.
All right, okay. Kieran, you better start talking more then.
What?
His hat's
What the
off.
fuck?
I've never seen his hat off before.
Yeah, for real.
Oh,
All right, Grace,
hang on.
join.
Wait, is that Brian Shapiro?
I'll rip your freaking balls off, Mr.
No,
Mister.
hey,
Okay.
Mr.
And I'll
You're
feel
Brian.
empathy while I do it. Okay.
That was
Hey,
mean.
Mr.
I'm
Mister.
No,
Good
we
to see
can't
you,
have
bro.
you. Okay, no. If I have you join Mo, then I'm gonna have to kick somebody else off.
Probably kick me. I'm just gonna go away.
Yeah. So, do you not understand what he's saying about empathy, though? It makes complete sense because empathy is just basically like a magical thinking, right? Where you're like, "Oh, I can magically know what's inside of someone's head using only my own perception because that's really all that's available to me."
No.
I can see that point if you define it a certain way.
Music,
I don't know what the
Define it in a
difference
way
is.
That is the
no one
definition.
ever
The definition is
defines-
sharing the framework of the other
If you
person.
You
That is
define
what
it in a way that no one ever defines.
There's no way that you can
makes
share it
sense.
because you don't have access
Incredible.
to it.
If I see a kid fall down and I like actually can like feel a little bit like what it, because I remember what it's like to hit your knee on the ground on a bike. Is that empathy or sympathy?
That's empathy.
No, well, the way that they will tell you is that if you want to be empathetic, you would be falling on the ground with the kid, and
no one
rubbing
says
your
that.
knee
No one
too
says
because
that.
you're feeling the
No,
exact
you
same
wouldn't,
thing that
Emmett.
the
No
kid
one
is
has said
feeling.
that. No
That
one
is
has
what you
ever
would
on
be
this
doing
panel
because
given
you're
you
trying
that.
to share on the
No.
framework.
No.
So you would
This
be
is your
going down.
special
In
definition
sympathy,
of
if you
empathy
have
that
sympathy for the kid,
continuously
you would be
and
like,
willfully
oh yeah, well, it
misunderstand.
hurts. I'm
No,
not
Emmett,
trying to
no.
help them. I understand how it feels because I maybe scrap myself, but I'm not trying to feel whatever the fuck the kid is feeling. I'm just trying, I'm trying to
I
help.
can
I'm trying
sense
to
when
find a
someone's
way.
Brandon, I think
and
a
has
little bit of
hepatitis,
both.
I can sense that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I can sense somebody's ankle pain. That's pretty much empathetic as
fuck
it gets,
is
and they
wrong
don't even
with
tell me nothing about it. And I could sense and feel like, is your left ankle like fucked up? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I feel that, bitch. It's all natural.
The fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Grace,
Yeah.
Confluence totally disapproves of what you're
Yeah,
doing in
delusional.
terms of.
Yeah,
Doesn't
dude,
approve
yeah.
of my
left
sniz
ankle's
licking.
messed
This is weird.
Yes, yeah, come on. Just
And Daria-
I hope
agrees.
I hope it's for
Daria
the
agrees.
internet. I hope
My
you.
left
ankle is
I
messed
hope
up,
it's a
okay.
grift. If it's not a grift, then just Fix
What is he,
yourself,
some kind
Grace.
of
Come on.
ultra conservative? What do you mean?
Right.
I think you know it's wrong. I think you know it's wrong. You're a
Do you
Catholic,
have a,
right?
do you
You're
have
a
a moral
Catholic.
issue? Do you have a moral
I have
issue?
a I have a moral issue, especially with Ben supporting this as your father. To
Oh
be
my god,
honest
he's
with
an
you.
ally. What's the problem?
Well, okay, there are a lot of problems with that, but no, I think you know it's and it's fine. If
No,
it's
but
like-
listen,
if it's
Grace.
like, hey, it'll
Grace.
give me more attention. That's fine, you know. But just don't actually do it. I guess is what I'm saying.
What's
you know, don't
interesting,
actually
Grace,
do it. Just tell
Grace,
people
what-
you're doing
Why?
it.
Grace, what's interesting
Doing
is
what?
Paige has a similar background to you.
Yeah, I was listening. Yeah.
And but she says like I come across as masculine. We're all like that's not true. See, she doesn't even know how she comes across.
I feel the same way. I feel like I
Yeah.
come across as masculine, and people like will say, "Okay, whatever, you have boy shoulders," but like not really. Like I don't really come across as like a tomboy even.
No
You
one
should
would
be a
think of it
voice
that
for
way.
Resident Evil, the chick on Resident Evil video games. You should be a voiceover, Grace. You're the bomb.
Thank you.
No,
What the fuck is
I
wrong
love
with you, Dashton?
Mm,
We're also
Right.
both
I
part
love
German,
you.
but that's beside the point. But
But
Yeah,
Paige
me
is
and Daria,
an
sorry,
ortho
Paige.
cis, the rarest of all breeds.
I am
And-
an orthobish.
And she's also a female debater, which is an oxymoron, as we all know. But so are
Me
you,
too.
Grace.
Me too. Me too.
She's
Very
pretty average
true.
though, so
I'm a Catholic cis, sort of.
Yeah, and you both are from a religious background, but she's more, I think, we'd say she's more conservative because she said that you should be anti-sexual until you get married, which I think is bizarre.
I heard that, yeah. My mom said, I was like begging her for Birds and the Bees talk, and she was like, sex is brutal, but wait till you're married. I was like, okay.
Well, I think
Yeah,
she
mine
said
too.
sexuality is brutal, right? Like,
She was just kind of like, the whole thing is brutal, but,
Yeah,
you know, don't
like-
be a whore. And I was like, okay.
it sucks to be a woman,
Basically,
not terrible
yeah.
advice, I suppose.
but don't
I
cause
wasn't
me
even
any
allowed to go
problems.
over to
Yeah.
a guy's house until I was 18, and married to the guy. Like there was just no guys' houses, anything like that.
Oh, you've been married
I was engaged
at
to an
18?
atheist. Yeah, at 18.
But here's
this
my
is
question: if you disagree with your mother, haven't you in many ways agreed with her? Like, I get.
But
you know
she
what I mean?
wasn't
Like,
wrong. I mean, she
She
wasn't wrong,
wasn't?
right? Not in that respect, because what happened is this, right? I met my ex-fiance at 18. He was from a religious family. He was a virgin. I moved to live closer to him, to a larger area. I was with him until 28. We got engaged when I was 25, and he was.
Wait! You were engaged at 18, and it took you 7 years.
No,
to
I
get
met
married?
him when I was 18. I got engaged to him when I was
Oh.
25. So it was
Oh.
about 7 years after we met. We got engaged. My dad told me the entire time, and he's like, this guy he's not the one. Don't marry this guy, right? And I was just like, whatever, like he's just, yanking my chain. And
Don't get married. Paul.
yeah, and I left him when I was 28 because we had moved, we got engaged, nothing worked. It was just a very
You had moved in. You had moved in
For
together.
10 years you're engaged?
Yeah, I moved in with him when I was 19, so we were only dating for less than a year, and I moved in with him.
Oh, so how's your mother right? I don't know.
Okay, Rachel Wilson.
Damn.
Rachel, yeah, no,
Wait, so how's your
Yeah.
mother right? I don't understand. What was your-
that I should have waited until we got married.
Okay.
That's so gross. Is that an Indian man's dong? And
I
that,
hate you so much. Go back to
Don't know
AI
what that
Grace,
is.
please.
What are you talking? You don't like sausage maxing?
No. I'm not a fan.
Cockfluence.
yeah, no, it's cock.
No.
No, it's
Cockfluence, that's a good one.
It's not. It's not. If you think about it, it's not.
That's bad. That is very bad.
We're gonna make it popular now.
Well, that's interesting that Confluence is against it, because I always thought of him as kind of like a liberal, millennial type.
No, I'm
Yeah.
a
He's
conservative.
independent, like all the.
No,
he's a
I'm a
liberal.
conservative.
No, he's
You're a
Center
neocon.
right.
You're a
I'm
conservative?
sponsored by the Daily Wire. Yes.
You're a conservative?
He's a liberal. He acts like he's a conservative.
I'm a conservative.
You're a closeted liberal.
I'm just not like retarded, okay? So
He's a closeted homosexual.
Oh my god. There's so many haters. Why are there
wow.
so many haters? Like
Because we like bullying him.
This is what I deal with on a daily basis, Paige, okay?
You have to reel in the panel, Confluence, like exert your authority.
It's not possible. I've given up
Respect
on that like
my
6 months ago.
authority.
Yeah, clockwise, snakewise. What can Confluence do better on the panel because he sucks at hosting lives?
You can boot
Oh,
you
God.
with that cucumber and boot him and be like, no, you're not coming back up until you like change it to a respectable photograph. Okay?
That'd be so mean for me
My
to do, though.
I don't know.
So
Yes,
Paige,
look,
do you
a
feel like
super leftist is supporting me? That tells you I'm a real conservative. Okay, if you think about it. See? Oh, is someone getting a tornado warning? Oh,
No, that's
die. Oh,
see, that's in
someone's
my
beeper's
house.
going
Holy
off.
shit!
Oh,
No,
you
there's
guys
a
disrespected the Daily
there's a
Wire.
fucking
Get fucked.
there's a flash flood warning where I live. It's been raining like this all fucking
get
day.
your ground, Avery.
Or something like that, and we've been flagged.
You know, Confluence. I think there is a trend at the moment for liberals to call themselves conservative. Like it's they say.
Yes.
I was supporting George Bush, okay?
Right.
When I was like fucking, I don't know how I was young, obviously. Okay, I've been like conservative my entire life, so it's not a recent trend. Okay, you can call me a liberal if you want. Cool. Okay.
Not
But
liberal,
it's not a-
libertarian.
Bush is a cancer.
Ew, gross.
Have
I'd rather
you-
be a liberal.
Confluence,
I'd rather be a fucking liberal than a libertarian. Fuck that gay shit, for real.
Confluence, have you ever heard that like there is a kind of Venn diagram where people who would end up on the left are more open, generally more like creative,
Sure,
that kind of thing, and people on the right, it's not 100%. People on the right tend to be more like controlling, like they're right. You know what I mean? Like that's a
Absolutely,
personality thing. But
Yeah,
maybe
it's a
you have
dispositional
I think
thing,
you have
yeah.
a liberal personality, but you're conservative. I think I'm like that too, but I'm more identifying as liberal these days.
But weirdly, not to psychoanalyze myself, but I'm dispositionally conservative when it comes to like morality. Like I don't know what the reasons for that is, but I have a tendency to pearl club. I do have a tendency to pearl.
But you'll like openly just be like getting shit faced on your stream, so I don't want to see that.
And fall asleep.
No, right, but that's
Fucking
like
snorfluence.
I guess like in that way, I guess it depends on what it is. Like, because I don't see that as like a super bad like moral thing, you know. But then like having your daughter on, let's say Tinder, and let's hypothetically, not you specifically, but just someone's daughter on Tinder and choosing to try to have lesbian intercourse, I would think that's a
what if it was
right?
what if it was hetero?
Than
Do you
just
think
getting like drunk?
What if it was hetero and it was Tinder? Do you have a problem with that?
If she's trying to like date to marry, then no. Or you know what I mean? Or I'd have less of a problem if she's trying to date to have a boyfriend. I understand it's 2026, but
What if I wanted to get
Otherwise-
married to a woman?
Filthy centrist fluence. Bam, there's the stamp. Filthy.
Wait, what did I
filthy
say?
centrist.
What was I saying? It was bad. Just the Tinder thing?
It was
You think
just
Tinder
kept
is
digging-
immoral?
kept digging with the daughter analogy, dude. Once you say daughter, just stop. Just stop. Full stop. Any kind of sexual comment, just full stop. Okay.
Wait, that's not an analogy. That's what Ben. I was joking, Paige. That's what Ben is doing. It's not an analogy. That's what Ben is doing.
Well,
So
the
how am I getting shit
conservative
for it.
the conservative Christian
Mention
That's what he's
mentality.
doing.
Can anyone talk about sexuality ever?
About
Is it
their
all,
kids,
like-
no.
Right.
About their kids, no.
I said,
That's what
could
Ben is- do you
anyone
understand?
ever
Paige,
talk
do you
about
not know
sexuality?
Ben Thorpe and Grace Thorpe? Because they share the similar last name. That's father and daughter. Meet Ben Thorpe. He's
I'm aware.
trying. He's right. So he's saying that it's good. So it's not an analogy I'm doing. This is what's really happening.
I'm not
right?
saying it's
So, I mean,
normal, but like we don't come from a normal situation. But I do think it can be healthy.
I gotta go, but I have been seeing you all.
It's not hell.
later.
How is it
Yeah,
hell?
Bye,
Yeah.
Emmett.
Bye, Em.
Bye, Grace. Take care.
I mean, I do think
Take a minute.
I do think that it's definitely true. It's difficult if your daughter is not affirmed by her mother. It does fall upon you to affirm her, and that can get, hairy.
It
But
depends what you mean by affirm, Ben. I remember.
Depends what you mean by Harry.
My dad
Like
doesn't
what?
talk
When
to me about sexuality, and
my
I'm
daughter
a
was when my daughter was
well-rounded
sort of
woman,
coming
I'm
of age, right?
successful.
And
You look a little depressed.
there's this meme.
Oh,
or
I
this
think
trope.
is it the lipstick? Is it the
There's
gothic?
this trope where they say, you know,
It's everything.
Confluence, can you get some order on this fucking panel?
Okay, I'll just finish
Yeah,
what I was
Confluence
saying.
control the panel.
Omate is very.
The more order I do command, and I'm getting a little triggered.
Omate
So
seems
you
to be
know,
saying something very reasonable. I love.
Yeah, thank
to hear
you.
a
When
human
when
being
my
talk.
daughter was coming of age, she was, 16, 17, 18. There was this trope that, I'm going to be, that the dad, he should be sitting on the porch with a shotgun and chasing away any suitors, right?
Stupid. I hate it.
But I could say, as a dad, one of my hopes is that my daughter grows up to have a healthy sex life.
Of course.
Right. That's not, I'm not getting into details. I just want for her what I want for most people, which is a fulfilling life, which includes a sexy health life. So I'm not going to be there scaring away
A
the
sexy
boys.
health life?
Yeah, I got it wrong.
You
I
said
got it
that wrong.
Shut up. Shut up. So in that way, I'm encouraging her. I'm kind of involved to a certain degree, Daria. I think, if that makes sense. But I'm not getting into details with her. But I'm just saying.
Well, let me just say this. So
not to demonize it.
If you look at girls who go off the deep end sexually, you will almost always find that they weren't affirmed by their parents. And so they're looking, if your father doesn't affirm you, you're going to look for another man to affirm you. And that is like 100% the story of all the girls who are doing crazy shit. And what does affirming mean? What does affirming mean? Well, I mean, it does involve saying you're a beautiful young woman and, that sort of stuff. I do think it's saying physical affirmation is part of it.
I agree. I guess it depends on maybe more specifics, but yeah, what you just said, absolutely. I fully agree with that. I think that's based.
My dad's comments on my appearance are mainly like, "Hey, you would get more men if you would get a tan and change your hair back to your natural blonde color." That's about it. I
think your dad should tell you you're beautiful. I think that I agree with Ben on that. I think you should.
I think you're pretty.
Thank you. He doesn't say that though. He's like, you should dye your hair back to your natural blonde.
Can I give you an
color."
example of this? So I don't know if you guys know Lav on the internet. She's a crazy, but she's kind of interesting.
Love, of course.
She's very attractive. But she told an interesting story that her grandfather, when she was a young girl, would, hug her. And then when she hit puberty, he would kind of act like, I don't want to make it seem like I want to put your boobs up against me. And see, I think that's super unhealthy because it makes her feel, and she said this, made her feel like, okay, well, there's something wrong with me being a woman, but it was okay. Like, if you're going to hug someone, hug them. It's like boobs are included. It's no big deal. But if you kind of make it, seem like, do you see what I'm saying? That's
Nobody thinks about the boobs. My dad doesn't think about my boobs when he's giving me a hug. It's
okay,
just
but
like,
if he did,
that would be weird.
And let you know that, it would be weird. It would be kind of saying
super
like,
weird.
Okay, but it is true that you're pressing your breasts up against him. That's true. Just like with little kids, when
you ever thought about that before, Paige? Now you're gonna think about it again when you hug them. The next time you hug them, you're gonna think about it.
I'm saying that's like when you read a kid a book, like when you read a kid a book when they're sitting on your lap, they are like right on top of your genitals. It's true, but like nobody cares, right? But like you could say, "Geez, that's crazy."
Has genitals. Like I know that he has them. He's a man, but I don't want to think
that's
about
interesting.
them.
That's interesting. Why not? You came from them.
It's weird, dude.
You should have an affection.
Inside there once, girl. Where does
yeah,
she go?
Well, there can be, but Paige, you seem like you're a little bit anti-sexual, and you will own that for yourself. But like, you think that's totally healthy? Like that's what God wants, is you to be like kind of like,
I don't think